Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on whichever part of the world you're tuning in from. I'm so excited to welcome you once again to yet another promising edition of the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola. Can I still say an happy new month message again? Happy new month to you all. Though we did that last week, and I still think we are still during the first phase of the new month, and the vibe of the new month is still in the air. So happy new month to you all. For those who I wasn't opportune to say so too last week. It promised to be an exciting week for us all here, as we have conducted a comprehensive analysis on all of the assets we are going to be looking at for this week. And for those who have been following me on this channel, on the Telegram platform, and of course on the TradingView platform, you'll definitely have seen what my plans are for the new week. And in fact, we shall be treating three financial assets today. So we are going to be looking at the GBPUSD, which of course I did not share that video during the course of the weekend because of my tight schedule, but we are going to be looking at that, doing a top-down analysis and seeing how we are going to be positioning ourselves ahead of this week. Then we are going to be looking at the USDJPY. What an interesting asset that is, considering the delicate nature of where price action is right now. So we are going to be looking at that. We are going to be looking at the psychological aspect, the fundamental aspect, and at the same time the technical aspect, which will be helping us to make an informed trading decisions. Then we're also going to be treating my favorite, the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And on the gold too, majority of participants in the market are looking forward to the gold right now, being a very popular safe haven asset. And considering the poor data from the United States last week, we are going to be seeing if it is time to start buying the XAUUSD, or we might likely going to be seeing some sell-off in favor of the US dollar. So stay tuned in, grab a cup of water, grab a cup of tea if you want to, and let's dive right into the business for today. Now, that reminds me, for those who are joining us for the first time, you are highly welcome on board. Well, you might be asking that what is it that we are doing here? Well, I'm happy to let you know that we are technical traders, and in fact, we come here on a daily basis to position ourselves strategically ahead of both the London and the New York session. And if we do have any financial assets that are open and running, we want to see how to manage our existing positions while we also position ourselves for new opportunities. I will encourage you to stay tuned in and in fact be part of our subsequent edition, as the more time you spend with us, the better you get in understanding how the strategy works, and of course be able to eventually use the information you have gathered here to make your own independent trading decisions. So we normally focus on the 1 hour time frame right here, and of course, like I said earlier, I normally share my plans for the new week during the course of the weekend. So if you had not watched that video is like a form of preparation for this session, as this session is more or less a follow-up detail to that video. So if you haven't, I forgot to include it in the description box today, but I will do that after the live session. And you can as well search my channel. You will see the latest videos I shared during the course of the weekend. So you do want to be watching those videos as an background knowledge of what is going on here, and of course you can use it as an educational tool in understanding how to use price action to identify potential trading opportunities. So once again, you are highly welcome on board. Now, with that being said, here we shall be diving right into the business for today. And of course, you know our morning routine, how it's always like for those who have been with us for a while now. The first thing we want to be doing is to check on the economic calendar, as we all know that these fundamental factors often manifest on the charts in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and, of course, specific technical patterns, hereby giving us valuable information that is needed to help us position ourselves ahead, during, and even after this event. So, on the economic calendar, we do focus on high impact events from the economic docket that affects the assets on our watch list. And of course, since we have the USDJPY, the GBPUSD, and of course the XAUUSD, we shall be focusing on the US economy, the United Kingdom, and of course the Japanese economy. Now, for today, Monday, September 4th, we do not have any high impact events on our watch list affecting the asset that we are looking at. And as a result of that, I would like us to filter in and include the medium impact event, and let's see if there is something that we can use as a yardstick to position ourselves for today's trading session. So I think we have something here, and that is from the United Kingdom, and this is coming much more later in the day. I think about it's going to be about about 18 hours from now, I think 14 hours from now, I guess, and that is the BRC like-for-like retail sales. And for those who don't know what this is, it measures the changes in the actual value of retail sales from participating companies with invaluable management information on regular and reliable basis. So it shows the performance of the retail sector, and of course a high reading is considered as something positive for that economy, while a low reading is considered as negative. Now, if we look at the previous data here, it came in at 1.8%, but we don't have a consensus projection yet. So normally this kind of scenarios like this, we should be expecting a consensus projection about 2 to 3 hours before that event happens, so that we can use that to compare if the expectations is beyond, below, or even just as expected when the actual data comes in. So I think that's what we are going to be looking at for today. Besides that, there are no other high impact or medium impact event to look out for. So with that being said, we shall be diving right into the chart and start looking at things from a technical standpoint. And before I go into that, please, I would like to get some feedbacks in the comment section as regards to the sound and the visuals of the session. If it's very good, please let me know in the comment section, and if it is not good, or probably there are some distortion in the sound or freezing in the videos, please let me know in the comment section, as this will enable me to know we are on the same page, and if there is a necessity for me to make necessary adjustments so that we can have a better experience out here. So I will be looking forward to your comments in the comment section, and thank you very much in advance as you do so. All right, okay, I can see some comments here. I see El Levit. Good morning, El Levit. Good morning, Otiraf. Glad to have you around this morning. Good morning to you, Eric Mudavadi. Good morning to you. Okay, thank you very much, El Levit. I just saw your comment as regards to the feedback. Thank you very, very much. All right, so with that being said here, let's dive right into the business. So as usual, the first financial asset we are going to be taking on this morning is going to be the GBPUSD, and in fact I already have a buy position running on this asset this morning, but we shall be looking at what led to the idea. And in fact, I'm still not affirmative about this bullish momentum, especially after we consider that strong impulsive move that happened on the last trading day of last week. So we are going to be looking forward to see how we are going to be managing this position. But first and foremost, the thing we are going to be doing now is to scale up into the higher time frame. Of course, I never shared any analysis on this pair, so I will be going into the higher time frame. Let us look at things from an holistic standpoint, and let's see if we can find something that we can use to manage our positions for today. Now, the first time frame which I'll be going to is the daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, I've talked about this a countless of times. For those who have been following me, I've talked about how this instrument has been on a very strong bullish momentum since the last quarter of last year. But that is not where our center of focus is going to be right now based on the current market structure. Now, if I zoom into what has been going on here in the last May, June, July, August, September, that's like 5 months now, you will see the character of price action appears to be transitioning into a pattern, which of course we shall be taking into consideration too as well. Now, the first thing I have observed around this area in the last 4 to 5 months is how the 1.2600 level had played a major role in determining where price action will be going. Now, if you look at this level here since the month of May, you will see that during the month of May, this level was a selling niche at some point, as you will see right here, before price action did break out in the month of June, did a retest of structure, and since that moment, price action has remained above the 1.2600 level. And in fact, at every point in time that sellers tried to break down the structure to the downside, we saw how buyers come in to negate all their attempts, as you will see here. And in fact, this lasted into last week trading session as we saw price action closed around the 1.26 area on the last trading day of last week. And what does this tell us? It tells us it reveals the presence of buyers around this area. So the strength of buyers here are very strong, hereby negating the attempt of sellers to push price to the upside. So we can consider this zone as an accumulation phase. Now, in addition to that level, there is the couple of descending trend line I was able to spot here. As you will see that as soon as price found the peak at the 1.31400 level, we saw how price began to drop to the downside, finding lower highs along the line. And when we connect the series of lower highs, I have a couple of descending trend lines to work with. Now, with a trend line here and a key level, one thing you would observe here is that despite the lower highs in this market, price is yet to find a lower low. And this is because of the barrier we have been witnessing around this area in the last couple of months now. And not unless price breaks down the structure can we start considering selling this asset. Now, the question going into the new week at this juncture in the market is, will price action respect this 1.26 level one more time to incite an uptrend continuation, or are we going to be having a scenario where price will break down the structure and incite a sell-off? Now, to answer that question, let's look at what the structure is really saying. Now, if we take into consideration the impulsive move into this area, you will see that price action appear to gradually transition into a reversal pattern, which is looking closer to a head and shoulder pattern, as you see the left shoulder gradually transition. Now, with this kind of reversal pattern here, we expect to have a neckline which will help us validate the potency of that reversal pattern. So we have a neckline which coincidentally shares a confluence with the 1.2600 level, and of course, for us to sell, we want the price to break down the neckline. And if that happens, then we shall consider selling at a retest of structure. Now, depending on how price reacts to the 1.2600 level since the beginning of this week is going to determine what our next line of action will be. So are we going to have a breakdown of the neckline to incite selling opportunities, or are we going to have a situation where price will remain above the key level to continue an uptrend? Now, for us to have a better perspective into this scenario, that is what is going on here, we will need to scale down to a much more lower time frame. So we want to see how participants in the market has been reacting to this level. Now, to do that, we will scale down into the 1 hour time frame, and on the 1 hour time frame, this is what I was able to come up with. Now, if we look at what has been going on here since the early hours of today, though price action has started on a strong bullish note, as you will see here, we saw buy pressure resume around the sorry about this. Let me see. 1.25850. So I will just 1.25850. So that is the support line here, and the resistant line here is about 1.26210. So sorry, 1.26210. All right. So I had this range identified this morning, though price was initially caught within that key level. Remember that key level right there, and our support line for this week is at the 1.25850. That is the lowest point for last week, and in fact still the lowest point for this week before the key level was broken. And you know how we use our key levels in this community. As soon as price breaks out of our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of buying that asset. Now we saw the breakout retest of structure, which triggered a buy position for me. And for those who took advantage of this opportunity, well done to you, as you will currently have about 25 pips, 27 pips running in profit right now. But if you had missed out on that opportunity, it's okay. The week is still very early, and there are still quite a lot of opportunities that the market will present along the line. Now, going into the London and New York session today, we have a range where price is confined within the 1.2621 and the 1.25850 level. And you know how we do it in this community. When we have this kind of range, we want to wait for the breakout or breakdown of that range to give us a signal of where price action is likely going. Now we have something that looks like a breakout of the structure, though we can't say it's a breakout yet because this candle still has about 24 minutes for it to close, so it could still turn out to be a shooting star candle along the line. So don't let us get too excited here. So we already have a breakout of the 1.26210 level, and for those who had missed out on this opportunity, let's see if the market will do some retest of structure to confirm that truly price will be going to the upside, at least for the first half of this week. Now, to give a visual representation of what I'm talking about here, I'm looking at something like this breakout. Then price could either come to retest the structure or come to as far as the 1.260 level, retest it for an uptrend continuation. So this is what I will be looking out for to buy. So what this simply means here is that you want to make your stop loss as wide as possible to contain the key level. So if you are entering from the 1.2610 area, your stop losses should be somewhere way below the key level at the 1.260, which will be dovetailing to about 25-30 pips thereabout on that one. So this is what I'm looking out for to buy. So if price remains above the 1.26 level, I will feel comfortable in a buy position today. And if of course price further breaks out, retest the 1.26210 level, we continue to add more position to our existing trade. So that is how we are going to be buying the GBPUSD today. Now, in as much as we're looking out for buying opportunities, you know how we do it in this community. We also want to keep tabs with the opposite direction too. Of course, if price does not do what we expect, and if price goes the other way, we want to be on standby to capitalize on that move. And in fact, if we consider the impulsive bearish move that happened on the last trading day of last week, remember we had this impulsive bearish move last week Friday, giving us signs of how sellers are getting stronger here, finding lower lows and lower highs. You would agree with me that we are within the seller's territory based on this single information here. So if we are going to be considered selling, what is it that we are going to see on this chart that will make us join a bearish move? Well, since we have a support line at the 1.25850, and in fact it has been respected since last week Friday, I'm of the opinion that the only condition that will make me sell is for price to slice through that support line, taking out all the buy positions there to give me a signal that we are likely going bearish. And in fact, if we are lucky enough, a retest of structure will be a beautiful confirmation for us to be part of a bearish move for today. So please, I want you to mark out these levels on your chart, as the only condition that will make us sell here is for price to break down the 1.25850 level. Now, if we begin to see some very significant movement in price action along the line, which supports the idea of selling, I will be sharing them with you on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. But if there are no significant transition of selling potentials, then we'll just hold on for the breakdown of the 1.25850 to happen before we jump into a sell position. So this is my view here on the GBPUSD. Very simple setup we have here. So we do want to be marking out this level, as our center of focus for this morning is basically between the 1.26210 and the 1.25850 level. So let's see how the market will play out around this area, and of course I will definitely give you updates in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform as at when due. So if you have any questions whatsoever as regards to the current setup, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Trust me, I'm here and willing to be of help in that regard. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions, and you can as well use that time to mark out those levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. All right. I see you, Richard Blackett. Good morning to you. Good morning, Jonah Aruna. Glad to have you around today. El Lavid, thank you for the compliment. I'm glad you found this content useful to you. So, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that you are all on the same page. We're all on the same page here. So we shall be moving right into the next financial asset on our watch list. But if you still have questions along the line, you can drop them in the comment section, and trust me, I am here and willing to be of help. So with that being said, let's dive right into the next asset. So the next financial asset on our watch list for this week is the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And in fact, this is my favorite pair that I in fact love trading. Well, for those who have not watched my video on the XAUUSD, please, you need to watch that video, as it will give you a background knowledge of how we got to this current market structure you are seeing right here on the 1 hour time frame. And of course, it can also serve as an educational guide in understanding how to use price action to identify trading opportunities. And if you had not watched them, I said I didn't have the time. I didn't put them in the description box below, but you can check my channel to look out for that update on the XAUUSD. So basically, we are going to be looking at the 1 hour time frame here. So for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you would have gotten an update as regards to how we are going to be managing this position for this week. And in fact, I would like us to run through that commentary quickly, especially for those who are not part of the live of my on that platform. So this is the XAUUSD here, and I shared a commentary about an hour ago. So this is what I said here this morning. So I said the new trading week has kicked off on a bullish note, pushing price upwards towards the $1,946 level. However, this level has now established itself as our new resistance level for the week. As technical traders, we will exercise patience and vigilance, awaiting clear signals in the form of either a breakout or breakdown of this range to give us an opportunity to either buy or sell. Now let's go back into the live chat and see what I'm talking about here. Now, if you look at the structure closely on the 1 hour time frame, you will see that this new week started on a strong bullish momentum. Now look at what we have here. Price action started the week around the $1,939.50 level. As you will see, buy pressure accumulated around that area before this engulfing bullish candle. We had a couple of engulfing bullish candle here, as you will see right here, giving us signs that we might likely be seeing an uptrend continuation. And from a fundamental perspective, I made mention in the video and the description box of the video on the XAUUSD how the gold is considered to be a significant safe haven asset for investors and traders. Now, considering the fact that the US labor sector last week didn't come in with good figures last week. In fact, the NFP data that came in, though it was beyond expectation, but it was at par with the previous data for the month of July. Yes, month of July and the month of August were almost the same. So it shows that there was no growth in that sector as always. And if you look at the ADP data, we look at the JOLTS job opening, the data wasn't convincing last week. And as a result of this poor data in the labor sector, the Feds are likely not going to increase the interest rate. Interest rate decision is coming September 28th. And because of this poor data, market participants may tend towards the safe haven. But we still have an high impact event coming, I think, on Wednesday from the US economic docket, which majority in the market will be looking forward to. And I think there are some other speeches too from the Fed Reserve, the Fed officials during the week that will also give us an insight into what to expect. Now, if we are going to be looking at this from a technical standpoint, looking at how the week has started here, we can see that though it started on a bullish note, but as soon as price got into the 1,946 level, we saw selling pressure resume around that area. Now, will this incite a selling opportunity, or will this be just a retracement of that impulsive move that started here to incite an uptrend continuation? Well, we have no other choice than to remain very patient here, as price action is still within the range it started this week. So we want to see how participants in this market will be reacting to the zone to determine what our next line of action will be. So will the selling pressure we notice around the 1,946 be a retracement of that impulsive move? And if it is, how far will this retracement phase go before we begin to see signs that we can get ready to buy the XAUUSD? Well, for us to look out for signs, we want to be looking out for reversal patterns. It could be double bottom structures, head and shoulder patterns before we want to start considering joining that bullish move. But of course, I will be giving you updates on my TradingView and Telegram platform if any new setup comes up here. Now, there is one more thing I would like to call our attention to, and that is this descending trend line. So if we go to as far back as Wednesday's trading session of last week, we have a descending trend line here after connecting the series of lower highs. And we saw the breakout of this trend line happened last week Friday, which is a good sign that we might likely be seeing a reversal pattern. Okay, now from a technical standpoint, when price breaks out of a key structure such as this descending trend line, we expect that at some point in time price is likely going to come back, retest that structure to incite an uptrend continuation. And in fact, price came into that zone, it broke down that structure, we saw higher lows here to incite this move. Now, if we take a closer look at this area here, below this descending trend line, you will see something like a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure. Now, take this impulsive move into consideration. Price dropped this far, came back into the structure around the $1,941.50 level. Price was unable to break the previous low, which is a good sign that buying momentum is gradually gaining behind the scenes, and we saw this move up here. Now you can see it looks more like a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure. And from a technical standpoint, when we identify such reversal patterns, the next thing we want to be doing is to identify a neckline which we shall be using to guide our decisions and of course validate that reversal pattern. Now, if you look at the structure here, you will see that we have something along the $1,941.50 level. So I would like to give this a different color to emphasize its importance here. So we have the $1,941.50 level as a yardstick. So I'll give this a blue color too. So look at what we have right now. So we have the neckline of that reversal pattern right here. And you know what we look out for? A breakout, which of course has already happened. So we already saw the breakout happen here during the early hours of today. So will price come back to retest that structure to incite a trend continuation to the upside? So that is what we are going to be looking forward to. So let's see if the market will come back into the 1,941. And if it does, we look out for reversal patterns, continue buy pressure. All we want to see is signs that sellers are finding it difficult to stay below this level. Then we can join the bullish momentum. And in fact, we have levels where we can use to maximize the potential of this move, such as the 1,946 and the 1,950 to add more position to our existing trade. So that is how we are going to be managing buying opportunity here on the XAUUSD. Now, for us to sell the XAUUSD today, I would want to see price break down the $1,939.50 level. So this is the support line for this week, and this is the lowest point for this week. I would like to see price take out all the buy positions here for us to start considering selling. So a breakdown of that structure, scale down to the lower time frame, look out for retest to confirm, then we can join the bearish move to the downside. Now, a further breakdown of the 1,935 level will be welcoming more selling opportunities in this market. So let's see how the market will play out here in the next couple of hours. So our center of focus for this morning for today's trading session is between the 1,946 and the $1,939.50 level, where depending on how price reacts to the structure will determine what our next line of action will be. Of course, I will be with you in the comment section of both my TradingView and Telegram platform to give you update if anything significant or anything new happens around this area. So if you have any questions regarding what I just explained so far, or you need me to do clarifications to any aspect in these illustrations, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move on to the next financial asset. And you can of course use that time to mark out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your independent trading decisions. All right. Okay, I see your comment, Agumbeade Olamide. Good morning to you and glad to have you around. It's been a while since I heard from you. Trust you are doing very well out there, Olamide. All right. In the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page. So we shall be moving right into the next and of course the last financial asset on our watch list for this week. So the next financial asset on our watch list for today is the USDJPY, and in fact we have a very simple setup that we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for today's trading session. And in fact, I want to remind you, for those who have not watched my video on the USDJPY, I encourage you to do so, as it will give you a background knowledge of how we got to this current point we are on the 1 hour time frame. And of course, you can use it as an educational tool in understanding how to use price action to position yourself ahead of any potential trading opportunities. Now, for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you must have gotten this update on the USDJPY, and in fact, you should be in a buy position right now. And for the sake of those who are not part of my Telegram and TradingView platform, let's run through my commentary this morning on what I said we are going to be looking at on this chart. So I said here that the lingering indecision from Friday's closing hours has spilled over into the new week, keeping trading activities confined within the tight range of the 146.350 to the 146.00 since the early hours of today. And as technical traders, we will exercise patience while closely monitoring this range, waiting for a clear signal to present themselves. These signals will be our key to unlocking potential trading opportunities in the days ahead. So let's go back into the live chart. It's a very simple setup here. There's nothing, there's no much complications here. All we just need to see is the breakout of our structures for us to confirm that we are going bullish or bearish. So you can see what happened on Friday last week. We saw how the week closed with an engulfing bullish move, as you will see right here. Price action moved significantly to the upside on Friday to emphasize some bullish strength going on in this market. And after this bullish impulsive move, we saw how price transitioned into what looks like a bullish rectangular pattern as price action finally broke out of that resistance line at the 146.350 level. Now, if you had followed my instruction, the illustration, my commentary this morning, you must have had your buy position triggered as price action broke out of the 146.350. And in fact, if you had missed out on that opportunity, the market came back to do a retest of that structure, and it appears price action is continuing to the upside. Now, one thing here is I'm not going to be encouraging you to get too excited at this point. The week is still very early. Because price broke out of this resistance line doesn't mean that price action will continue to find higher highs. So let's keep our minds as open as possible, as the breakout here could still turn out to be a false breakout where price could still drop back into the channel, breaking down the support line to incite a sell-off. So we are not getting too excited here unless price action move, let's say 40 pips there, about 50 pips, before we begin to feel confident in this position, and of course move our stop losses accordingly to secure this current buy position. So on this one, we'll continue to hold on to this bullish bias at this point in time, since we have a breakout of our resistance line, and let's hope that price action will continue in that direction. Then, in as much as we're looking out for this bullish potential, there are chances that we could see some retracement after the breakout of that structure. Now, if you look at the nature of price action within this range we spotted here, you will notice that we have something like a pennant in the structure. If you look at it closely, you will see, hold on a second, that's not what I wanted to choose. Okay, so we have something like this. So can you see what I'm talking about here? So you can see that we have something like a pennant, which is of course a trend continuation pattern. Of course, it's a trend continuation pattern, of course, and a breakout of that resistance line of that pennant is all we need to confirm that. So what I'm trying to say here is that we could have a scenario where price could at some point selling pressure come in. So we don't want to panic when that happens, as it's still within the bullish expectation here. So price could still come back to retest the line that was broken from the pennant to incite an uptrend continuation. So that is why we want to give enough room for price action to breach. So your stop losses should be way below that support line of that range, so that even if price comes back to retest the pennant that was broken, we will still be in the trade in anticipation of the uptrend continuation. And in fact, if price comes into that area to retest it, I want to be looking out for more buying opportunities if I sight buying pressure around this area. And of course, I will be giving you updates on both my TradingView and Telegram platform if that happens. Now, If instead price does the contrary here and goes into a breakdown of the support line here, then we shall start considering selling. Now remember, we are not going to be getting too excited here to join. We're not having a sell stop order in this case scenario, as we will need some confirmations to happen before we jump into that position. And of course, as soon as we sight the breakdown of that support line, all we want to be doing next is to scale down into our lower time frame to look out for signs that buyers are finding it difficult to climb back above the 146.00 level, and of course this would reflect on the chart as price coming back to retest structure. And in fact, remember, we have a trend line here which lines up with that pennant. If it respects it, selling pressure below that area will be all we need to confirm that we are going to be going bearish. So that is how we are going to be selling. I doubt if that will happen today, but if it does happen, we want to be on standby to capitalize on that move. So these are my views here on the USDJPY. As you will see, it's a very simple setup. Our center of focus is between the 146.350 and the 146.00 area, where depending on what happens here is going to be determining what our next line of action will be. So that is my view here on the USDJPY. Nothing much to say, nothing more to say at this point. So if you have any questions whatsoever, it's time to drop them in the comment section. Let's see how well I can attend to them. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions, and you can of course use that time to mark out these levels on your chart. So in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. And in fact, I'm trying to bring up my the link to the XAUUSD live monitoring window so that we can click on it and then click on the notify me button. Hold on a second. So I just shared in the comment section the link to the XAUUSD live monitoring window, which will be coming up 5 to 10 minutes into the New York session. And of course, you do want to be clicking on that link. Click on the notify me button so that you can get notified as soon as we come online here. And of course, for those who don't know, the XAUUSD live monitoring window was a platform that was born last month. I think we've been running this for about 5 weeks now, and it's a way at which we come here together to monitor the XAUUSD price action real time, see how we anticipate potential trading opportunity, see how we manage our existing position, and if the position is not working out, see how we opt out of the trade in due time. So you want to be part of that session as we come here to review the XAUUSD together. 5 to 10 minutes into the New York session, we shall begin. So I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section on that one. And that reminds me, if you have found this content helpful and useful in making your independent trading decisions for today's trading session, I would really appreciate you give the video a thumbs up. Your likes are very valuable to me, and in fact, it also helps the YouTube algorithm to promote the video to a wider audience of traders who may find this content beneficial. Thank you in advance for doing so. And in fact, if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of the insightful content I normally share on this platform. And if you subscribe, you get notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the comment section of both my TradingView Telegram platform and of course during the XAUUSD live monitoring window as we continue to monitor price action. Do have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.